Maybe while we're just waiting for the slides to come up, I'll just give you a quick overview. Avidian's been a private company for quite a few years. We're brand new listed. We're not even 10 months old. We came out on the public market on the TSXV last December. The background of Avidian is it's a veteran team from the board members to the management to the technical advisors. We've been around for a long time. Our goal was to put together a portfolio of assets in the first world jurisdictions, and right now we have a portfolio of assets in Alaska and in Nevada. Our goal really was to bring these up the value chain and to be able to feed the pipeline of new discoveries as we go along. As I had indicated, it's a new company. So I can talk around it a bit without the slides. We have 56 million shares outstanding. It came out in December. It came out at a market cap of $20 million, and we're one of those rare juniors that have hung in quite nicely. Our market cap is currently about $30 million. You didn't get it? Okay. So as indicated, we came out in December, $20 million valuation, not even 10 months old, $30 million valuation. So we've hung in quite nicely. Liquidity has been fairly good. We've been doing about 100,000 shares a day. It's dropped off a little bit in the last little while. There's about 7 million warrants outstanding. Those warrants are a little bit out of the money. They're at 76 cents, but they're still good for a couple of years. Exercising of those warrants would probably bring in about another $5 or $6 million at that point in time. And I'll quickly go to the slides when they come up. So what I really want to talk about here during this presentation is really our flagship project in Alaska. There we go. So again, there's just a recap quickly of what the market cap and what our share performance has looked like. Okay. So our flagship property in Alaska is called the Golden Zone property. We have two properties in Alaska, Golden Zone and Amanita. The Amanita project, I don't have time, I think, through this presentation to talk to you about, but just a quick highlight. It joins directly onto Kinross's Fort Knox project. It is high grade. It's the same type of style of mineralization as Fort Knox. In my personal opinion, I don't think it's going to be a big multi-million ounce deposit. It's a relatively small land package, but it definitely can supply good high grade feed to the Kinross mill. And because Kinross is currently mining about 380,000, 400,000 ounces a year at a head grade of about 4.45, and we have grades all in oxide ore, all open pitable, that are north of a gram, gram and a half. So what I'd like to do is really focus in on the Golden Zone project here. Look, it sits in this Tatina belt. I think you people are aware of it. It's a big prolific belt of rocks that go right from Alaska over to the Yukon side. It's well mineral endowed. It's done over 130 million ounces of gold, and I think in the last 20 years it's been probably about 50 million ounces of gold. We have numerous high-grade occurrences. There is an anchor pin of a smaller resource, 300,000 ounces, which I'll talk to you a little bit about to give you an idea how that can grow. But really what we're looking after is these big targets that you see in the Tatina Belt, the Dublin Gulches, the Donlins, etc. These are all big intrusive related gold systems, and that's what we think we have on the property. Attributes on the property, why we like it. It's easily accessible. We can drive to the property. It's 15 kilometers on that black line you see there near the top of, that's an unpaved or unmaintained state road that goes to the main highway. It takes us about 4.5 hours to drive there from Anchorage. We can work all year round, and in fact, we're still drilling as the snow is flying right now. So it's not going to be one of these projects that we've got to wait till the summer season. Okay, you can see there a lot of those red stars near the top of the map. Those are all historical mineral occurrences. They've been anchored around that breccia pipe, and as you can see, a lot of it is just really on the road. This year we did a fair amount of prospecting, had a new discovery called the JJ Zone, and on the back of that we staked a lot of ground. Now we have truly a district size scale project. It's over 100 square kilometers in size. What I really want to talk to you a little bit about is just give you an overview picture why we're excited about this property, why we think it has the potential it has. And I'm going to talk to you about that Copper King, South Long Creek trend, and then I'm going to go to the JJ Discovery. But first, just to give you a takeaway here that I think is really important to look at, this is the northeast end of that property, within sits in most of the mining lease. I think what you really got to notice there is that's over 8 kilometers of mineralization. Look at those grades. Those are rock samples. Those are not trenches. Those are not stream sediments. They're not soils, but those are rock samples. How many are sitting north of 5 grams? How many are sitting north of 20-gram material? Somebody had said to me, well, you got a lot of smoke. Well, I look at that and I said, whoa, I think there's a lot of bonfires there that we've got to compile and put together. So the focus this year has been dominantly in that oblique circle that you see down there called Copper King, Long Creek, and South Long Creek. Let me give you a little bit of an overview why we like that area and what's going on. Without trying to bore you too much here in geophysics and technical details, just a brief overview. The map on the left-hand side is a geophysical survey we did this summer, covered about 59 kilometers over that area, and there's a reason we did that, because there is some historical work there that I'll demonstrate to you what it means. Really what we're looking for is these big intrusive systems that is punching through the sediments, mineralizing the sediments, and can be the source to this mineralization, but they in themselves can be those big multi-million ounce deposits that you see in the trend. The call-out boxes in blue are drill holes that we're drilling, and on the right-hand side you'll see a typical profile. The highlight here to take away is all the cool colors are what you want to do. So everything in the blues, etc., we believe are all related to these big intrusive events. The map on the right, that big blue color, is well over 1 kilometer in size. I'm not going to try to suggest to you at this stage of the game that that is one big intrusive, but it's related to a number of intrusive events. And what you see shadowed on there around it also are these magnetic lows, which are interpreted to be these actual intrusives themselves. We're still waiting a lot of these drill assay results to be able to release them to the public domain, but I have enough of partial hole results to be able to speak with a bit of confidence here for you. Ironically, last week we got a trench sample. You can see it there, 3 meters of 16 grams and 0.78 copper, and where's it sitting? Right on the edge of that big blue blob. Okay, so an empirical observation of how this mineralization is working. Again, another empirical observation, and this is what really got us excited in this area, and we think it's a big area that we can go. You can see there on the right-hand side, there's a drill hole. Hopefully you can see it's 7 meters of almost 5 grams gold and about 3% copper. Okay, that was a shallow hole. It only went down 60 meters. So we've twinned that hole. I can tell you we'll get similar numbers, but more importantly is what's at the end of that hole. How much further does that go? Does that see that mineralized system that we're looking for? In the pink, those quartz, porphyry granites you see there, the picture on the lower right-hand side is stockwork on surface. I mean, look, it's got a great grade, 4 grams, 5 grams of gold, and 1.5% copper almost. It's a dike. It probably doesn't have a lot of size, but it's likely one of these fingers coming off of these intrusives that we really like. A hole 18-2 that we drilled, we're still waiting on some of the assays, shallow in the hole at 25 meters. We hit another one of these stockwork systems, classic, what you want to see, chock full of sulfides, a lot of moly. It all tells us we're very close to the source of all of this rock. So this is a big area, so stay tuned what it is. To give you an idea of the prospectivity of the property, this year in August we discovered what's called the JJ zone, and that's what led us on to doing this big staking rush and making sure that we tied up all of this ground, including what's called the Coho area, where we've got 111 grams, 10 grams of gold mineralization. What are you excited about the JJ zone? It's got a big footprint. It's still very early stage, but a big footprint. Okay, it's 150 meters wide, vertical Gaussian zones with multiple high-grade assays. You can see down there in the bottom line, 6 grams, 5 grams type material. Those Gaussians are anywhere from 0.5 meter to 3 meters wide. What's really important here is the dead-looking rock in between is actually not dead. It's running 0.5 gram to almost 1 gram of material. So if you shake and bake it, you can get a really good size assay. This thing's 150 meters wide. The top of the hill to the valley floor is at least 300 meters, and it doesn't stop there. And into the plane of the slide, we've traced it for another 450, 500 meters. So you can do the math. It's a big system, it's a big area, there's a lot of follow-up work to do here. This clearly has the potential for a million, couple million ounces, and maybe north of that. So this will wait till the summer, because that's snow covered now of next year, but in the meantime, we're still drilling in the Copper King area. Told you there's a breccia pipe here. This is what these resources are anchored on. It's modest. It's 300,000 ounces. It's open pittable. It's about 2 gram material. You can see on the section it is a pipe. We haven't been able to find the root of it. We announced earlier this week drill hole results from this area, and I want to show you, just demonstrate here quickly the prospectivity of this area. So we tagged a hole 18-4 there right through the guts of the breccia pipe. We went down plunge. So I want you to caution you, it is a down plunge hole. It will add modestly to the resource because it is a much higher grade. But what was important there is that's sitting within one of these intrusives, okay, that I talked to you about, the Copper King area. Well, lo and behold, we tagged into 21 meters of 1.6 gram material. So clearly, with a lot more work, sitting within the open pit, we can actually expand that resource. Another, again, idea of prospectivity, you'll see what's called the Mayflower Trend last year, 400 meters to the north. No one had ever drilled in that area. 1710. We got a hole at 21.8 meters of almost 1.5 grams. We tied that in with hole GZ05, where we got 10 meters of 1.5 grams. We drilled a hole, got 17 meters of 2.1 grams. Again, do the math there. That could add another 150, 200,000 ounces to an offshoot of the open pit. Again, prospectivity, how it works on a local scale. I showed you on a regional, but on a local scale. To the west breccia pipe, 400 meters away. No one ever saw that before. Those are grab samples, okay? Whether it's an analog of the same breccia pipe, and there should be no reason why if there's not one, there's more than one, or if it's tectonic breccia remains to be seen, but it gets to show you that prospectivity. So, look, thank you very much for attending. So I think the sign off here is that we are jurisdiction, good class states to work in, veteran team, very scalable project, big project, and we're tightly held. We own at least 20% of the stock, so we're very aligned with shareholders. Thank you for taking the time, and apologize for the charts not coming up early, but hopefully you could follow it. Thank you very much.